definition quiz.
BBC Radio Manchester.
So all this week we've been putting you in a holiday mood. It's not been particularly great weather in Greater Manchester, so maybe your attention has turned to holidays, places that you would like to go. We've featured people who are in the travel industry all this week, and we're going to end the week by talking about one of my favourite subjects and my favourite holidays, only because the other half won't fly, so it's kind of like Hobson's choice, really. We're talking cruises, and a man that knows all about them, Tony Parkins. Morning, Tony.
Good morning, Phil. Enjoying the show.
Oh, thank you, and lovely to talk to you this morning.
Likewise.
Right, cruises. You are the king of cruises, aren't you? Just tell us a little bit about what you've been doing.
Well, I've been a cruise director for over 30 years now. It started off with Royal Caribbean and then to Celebrity and then later on to Saga, Cruise and Maritime Voyages. And now as I get a little older, I'm enjoying a more sedate cruising style, which is river cruising for Riviera travel.
Oh, amazing. We'll talk about that in a moment. Do you know the interesting thing about cruises? I think at one point, maybe 20, 30 years ago, they were very exclusive, weren't they? You know, if you went on a cruise, it was a bit Hyacinth Bouquet, wasn't it? You know, you would know that you were going to be surrounded by people, you know, of a certain class, let's just say. Well, I think the brilliant thing about cruises now, effectively, you can get one which is the same as a package holiday to Europe, can't you?
You really can, Phil. And I think a lot of that was to do in the early days when Carnival Cruise Line really took control of the market. They own over 100 ships now throughout the world, and they kind of just they brought the kind of dress code down. They reviewed absolutely everything from top to tail. However, if you go on a Cunard cruise, you can still, if you are one for formality, and indeed P&O, some of their ships, you can still enjoy that lovely formal attire and the baby grand piano and the top champagnes. But there's something for everyone now. That's, I think, the best part about cruising.
I mean, there's so many aspects, aren't there, to cruising, which are just delightful. I mean, the fact that you can eat for 24 hours a day, I can never get over. You know, 3 in the morning, if you get the munchies, it's fine. There's going to be somewhere open. But I love that aspect, but also I love the entertainment. I think that's the thing that always gets me, is that you're on this ship in the middle of the ocean and you're watching kind of like world-class entertainment.
Very much so. A lot of, I mean, we've seen the demise of theatre. More recently, though, we've seen more money going into arts and live entertainment. But on cruise ships, it's never really wavered. It's always been up there with the food is the entertainment, because people enjoy still live entertainment, live vocalists, and more importantly, those all-important West End production-style shows. That's where we get the feedback on our customer service questionnaires at the end of the cruise. That's what they really do enjoy.
So tell me about the river cruises. What's that entail?
Well, very much a boutique and niche market, but it's now starting to grow quite considerably because a lot of the bigger cruise lines are now recognizing there is a market there. But in answer to your question directly, Phil, it's more about, I think, more personal. For example, if you're sailing one of the great rivers, whether it's the Moselle or whether it's the Rhine or whether it's the Danube, you know, you don't go through a whole lot of administration to get on and off the ship. We just pull up and you get off. It's as simple as that. You go on your own tour independently, or you come on one of our organised tours. The food is exceptional. The entertainment isn't as grand as it is on the big ships because they're more destination journeys rather than entertainment based. But still, they really do rank high, again, in those all-important customer service questionnaires and online service, because they offer a completely different side to cruising. And as you said earlier, you know, really there is now something for everybody, and it's such a diverse market.
Yeah, and I suppose if you've not got sea legs, that's ideal, isn't it? Because you're not going to encounter too many waves. Have you had a few rough nights on cruises?
I think one of the worst nights, I mean, was, yes, in answer to your question, yes. I think a lot of the cruise lines were going down to the Caribbean as they do this time of the year. January, this is when a lot of the Australian season starts, and Caribbean, this is where everybody's going, they're heading down to those warm climes. But one company that I was working for decided they wanted to go up to Iceland, up across the North Atlantic, which sounds really, really nice. But this time of the year, as you've been alluding to with your excellent weather reports, not only is it cold, but also it can get choppy is probably an understatement. I've had some of my worst times on that North Atlantic. So, yes, and of course, the infamous Bay of Biscay. But at the same time, when we did a world cruise a couple of years ago, we did the Bay of Biscay, and it was like a mill pond. So you can never really tell. But always make sure that you're in midship, you take ginger, and you get Dramamine, and you should be able to avoid seasickness.
Do you know, funnily enough, we did a Nordic cruise in September,
lovely.
and we went right at the front of the ship. We thought, because the views are going to be amazing, you know, of the fjords and so on. And we had a choppy night because, funnily enough, of the conditions around Iceland. And we realised at that point, if you don't particularly want to go up at night, down all night, don't go on the front of the ship. It's not the best place.
Not really, because you'll just go up and you'll go down. It'll be like being on a fairground and your worst nightmares. But just hold on tight. And what we always used to say is you can always tell people who haven't been drinking because they fall all over the place. But the people who have been drinking seem to just walk in a straight line from one end of the ship to the other.
And you mentioned their world cruises. Do you know, I've met a few people on cruises over the years that they literally stay on board because they say it's better than, you know, sort of staying here and having to pay for your own food and, you know, heating, accommodation, etc. Just stay on board a cruise liner.
Well, it's true. I mean, if you can go onto YouTube, there's a famous lady who's done that, an American lady. But from a practical point of view, you know, you do have to have the financial resources. Yeah. You can do so. But there are now ships where it's developed. A Norwegian company has now developed a ship where you can actually buy the cabin. So it's like a modern-day timeshare. On a ship, yeah. Wow. And then there's another company called MSC, which just constantly it just follows the sun. So yes, you can stay on the ship. And on the world cruise, I have to say, if you really do have the experience and you're getting near to retirement or you've had a windfall of some sort, just really put that on your bucket list because it really is something very special indeed.
Yeah, do you know, that is the ambition. That's what we want to do one day, a world cruise. I just think it'd be extraordinary.
Oh, it is, especially when we look outside and we see the weather as it is now. You know, within a few hours, you're down to the Azores and then down to Africa, then going down to Australia and then Caribbean. I mean, it's all, I know.
You're talking my language. Get me on there now. Right, Tony, you okay to play the definition quiz?
Yes, indeed.
Excellent.
Yes,
you're going to be brilliant. Right, here we go. All those years of playing quizzes on cruise lines will come in handy now. All of your words in the next 60 seconds are going to begin with the letters F-A-N. F for Freddie, A for Andrew, N for Norman. F-A-N.
Right.
Okay, 60 seconds of definitions. All the words begin with F-A-N. Good luck. Here we go.
The definition quiz.
BBC Radio Manchester.
Right, words beginning F-A-N. Nice, easy one to kick off with. A device for creating a current of air or a breeze.
Fan.
Yes, a loud flourish of brass instruments, especially trumpets.
Fanfare.
Yes, wonderful, superb or remarkable.
Oh, I thought you were just saying that's what I was. Pass, sorry. It's thrown me. Oh, thank you, darling.
A grooved tooth of a venomous snake.
Again, can you repeat that? Sorry,
yeah,
Phil.
Sure I can. A grooved tooth of a venomous snake.
Fang.
Yes.
Fang.
A person motivated by extreme unreasoning enthusiasm for a cause.
Fanatic.
Yes. An ardent devotee, an enthusiast. Think of your first answer.
Fan.
Yes. An animated Spanish dance in triple time.
Flamenco.
Oh, no, no.
Oh, Fandango.
Yes. I bet you've done a few fandangos in your time, Tony.
Oh, you knew.
Yes, I do know. Wonderful, superb or remarkable was fantastic. That's what we were looking for. Well done.
Thank you.
Tony, what an absolute pleasure it's been. I hope to see you one day on a cruise liner. Tony Parkins joining us on the quiz this week. We're going to talk sports next week on the definition quiz, starting with a water polo side from Greater Manchester on Monday's quiz. It's 9 minutes away from 8 on BBC Radio Manchester. Right, let's get into the music for the weekend. Dave Sweet.